There were a record-breaking 7 Muslim-majority countries taking part in the 2018 World Cup in Russia, meaning millions of Muslim football fans have flooded into the huge Eurasian country, turning it into one of the most Muslim World Cups. But this is not the first time Russia has experienced a wave of Muslim arrivals. In fact, the country has an Islamic history dating back nearly 1400 years.
As-salamu Alaykum everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am DESI, a revert Muslima from Lithuania, and today let's hear the 10 shocking facts about Islam in Russia.
1. 7th century origins of Russian Islam. The second largest religion in Russia, Islam first arrived in the country around the mid-7th century, when Muslims appeared in the Caucasus region as part of the Persian conquest.
The first religion in Russia, it is not Catholicism, but majority they are Russian Orthodox, then Christians, atheists, and also Islam. So Islam is 9.5% in 2024.
This was only a few decades after the Prophet Muhammad announced his faith to the world. 2. Muslim population of Russia. The first local conversions to Islam are believed to have begun about a century after Muslims arrived on the territory of modern Russia, forming what would become Dagestan. Today, Russia's Muslim population numbers around 21 million.
For those who don't know, Khabib Nurmagomedov is from Dagestan, and yes, he is a Muslim.
It's the same number as the number of Russian Muslims in Sweden, Denmark, and Norway combined. 3. Russian Muslim empires. At various points in its history, parts of modern Russia were ruled by various Muslim kingdoms. Some of the most famous include the Golden Khanate, Safavid, Afsharid, Qajar, and Ottoman, all of whom helped increase the influence of Islam in Russia and the nation's cultural landscape. 4. Muslim capital of Russia. The most famous Russian Islamic capital in history was Sarai, in the center of the Golden Horde during its peak between the 13th and 14th centuries. Sarai was described by the Muslim traveler Ibn Battuta as one of the most beautiful cities he ever visited. It is located in modern Astrakhan Oblast and has not been fully excavated. Most people consider Kazan to be the Muslim capital of modern Russia, as it is home to the iconic Kolsarif Mosque and the Russian Islamic University, and hosts several major Russian Muslim cultural events, including the Muslim Film Festival and the annual Quran Reader Contest.
Let's go to the Google Maps and check out where is Sarai. So Sarai is near Caspian Sea.
5. Ethnic Muslims in Russia are descendants of the Prophet. There are several ethnic Muslims in Russia, and one of them claims to be a direct descendant of the Prophet Muhammad. Certain families among the Dagestani people trace their lineage back to the earliest Muslims who came to spread Islam in the 7th century, some of whom were the families of the Prophet. Among these prosecutors is the Dagestani Muslim leader, Mufti Ahmed Haji Abdullayev. 6. Repression and awakening. Unfortunately, Muslims in Russia have experienced several painful periods of repression. The most prominent was between the 16th and 18th centuries, when many were forcibly exiled, and there was another more recently under communism. However, since the collapse of communism, there has been an Islamic revival across Russia, which has seen the number of mosques in the country increase from around 160 to nearly 7,000 between 1990 and 1997. These mosques stand alongside nearly 5,000 Muslim organizations and a number of mosques. The Russian Muftiat oversees them all. 7. Russian Muslim Republic. Russia is a federation in which there are 22 republics, and 7 of them have a Muslim majority. The republics of Bashkortostan, Tatarstan, Dagestan, and Chechnya are the 4 largest, with a combined population of around 10.5 million. These republics were granted a great deal of autonomy and had their own capitals and state languages, usually Turkish or Caucasian. 8. Russian Mosque. The most historic mosque in the country is the Juma Mosque in Derbent, Dagestan. built in 734 under the Umayyad dynasty. The largest is Moscow's Cathedral Mosque, with a capacity of 10,000, which is also competing to be the most beautiful mosque in Russia alongside Kazan's Kolsarif Mosque, the Bulgar Taj Mahal Mosque, and St. Petersburg's Mosque, which is modeled after Tamerlane's beautiful tomb in Samarkand.
Yeah, in Samarkand we saw already these amazing, beautiful mosques. In case you didn't see my travel vlogs of Uzbekistan, there is a playlist on my YouTube channel with amazing, beautiful vlogs showing the mosques, mausoleums, also how the Muslims live there in Uzbekistan, because Uzbekistan has a huge Muslim population and community.
Russian Muslim food. Thanks to its Islamic presence, as expected, Russian food has a strong Muslim influence. Dishes such as cheburek, a pastry filled with spiced minced meat and onions, a relative of the samosa, and chak-chak.
Yeah, this is true, but of course the meat is pork, because in Lithuania we also have chebureki in Lithuanian. We also make it with potatoes, but mostly with pork.
A third of fried wheat cakes soaked in honey have been popularized by Muslim Tatars. Other less widely eaten but interesting Muslim foods include sakta, a Dagestani favorite, a concoction of chopped and boiled goat's liver mixed with dried apricots and onions stuffed into sheep's intestines. Basically, a kind of halal sausage. 10. Famous Russian Muslims. These include Alisher Usmanov, business magnate, billionaire and part owner of Arsenal FC, Alexander Litvinenko, former spy and whistleblower who died of poisoning in London, Hussein Baysangarov, holder of the WBA Continental and IBF International boxing titles, Hadijat Gatayeva, the angel who saved orphans during the Chechen War, and Abdurasid Ibrahim, the Muslim traveler and scholar who became the first imam of Tokyo's Kami Mosque. Also, there is the name of Khabib Nurmagomedov, UFC lightweight world champion, holder of the longest undefeated record in MMA, with 29 wins, and remains undefeated in professional MMA. In Russia and in the land of Siberia, a region where two twilights meet, neither day nor night passes, Allah tapped the hearts of its inhabitants to accept the message of his messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The Siberian land of Russia is a cold land whose highest temperature in summer is only -50 Celsius. Even though sunlight does not penetrate this region, the light of Islam is able to penetrate the country of the Red Bear. This treatise traverses the steppes, forests, and mountains of Russia from 1400 years ago. Abdul Karim As-Samak said that on his 2010 visit to Moscow, he saw the Moscow Grand Mosque crowded with worshippers praying there. The mosque, which has 6 floors, was unable to accommodate the congregation who were praying. So many of the congregation had to pray outside the mosque in the face of cold weather. We rarely hear this news. We know better that Russia is a former Soviet Union country, where the majority of its people adhere to communist beliefs. The large number of Islamic communities in Russia certainly makes us happy, especially with the establishment of diplomatic relations between Russia and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Of course, it has a positive impact on Muslims there. In a situation where a minority of Muslims still dared to show their existence in Russia, in 1996, the Mufti of Russia, Sheikh Rawi Ainuddin, asked President Boris Yeltsin to allow Muslims to hold celebrations commemorating more than 1,000 years of the entry of this monotheistic religion into the country. However, this request was rejected by Yeltsin. It was only during Vladimir Putin's time that Muslims were allowed to hold these celebrations, and the existence of Islam became more visible.
This is so true, guys. Vladimir Putin has a lot of respect to Muslims and Islam. He has a very good relationship with Erdogan, Turkish president. He also supports some Islamic values. He is against and also punishes LGBT in Russia, also allows wearing hijab in Russia, among other things.
History of the entry of Islam to Russia. The entry of the light of Islam in Russia began at the time of Umar bin Khattab, with the intermediary of the honorable friend Hudzaifa bin al-Yaman. Hudzaifa, who was assigned to preach in Azerbaijan and Armenia, continued to fight to spread Islam until it reached the regions of Dilam, Tibristan, and Afghanistan. This spread continued to widen until contact with the Caspian people occurred. In 115 AH, one of the preachers in the area named Rabi bin Maslama radiyallahu anhu succeeded in building a mosque in the area. Of course, building mosques is an effective strategy to maintain Islam in this new region.
Let me know in the comments below if you are a Muslim from Russia or living in Russia, and how do you feel about being a Muslim living in Russia?